going to be sleeving some cards from Magic the Gathering. And you have my sincere permission to make fun of me. Okay? So, I have a lot of cards. Some of them are in this little pouch. And it's pretty stuffed with them. You can see they're all waiting for us. And some of them are packaged. There's something so exciting about an unopened package of Magic cards. There's also some in baggies. And I should tell you, I am sleeving cards for a friend of mine. All of my cards are sleeved and archived the way I want them. So I have to make some assumptions because these cards are a little bit of a mess. But I have to assume that the cards in the baggies must be decks. I think that they're decks. So I will keep them together. It's a very severe crime against humanity to take apart someone else's magic deck. It's very bad etiquette for a planeswalker. So, like I said, I think they're probably a mess. So we can sort of discover them together. When I saw this pouch of cards, I got really excited. I thought maybe inside there might be some D20s and some tokens, but there weren't. I just love D20s. And I like to just roll them around in my fingers. I guess that's weird. Anyhow, the sleeves I'll be using. Here they are. They are Mayday sleeves. And you can see, if it weren't for the light, they are a 63.5 millimeter by 88 millimeter. And that indicates the size of the cards that they're meant to fit. But you can always look up sleeve guides. Most of the big companies have their own sleeve guides. And you can look them up on places like board game geek. People are so dedicated to listing all of the games, but since Magic is really the oldest card game in this sense, most companies make a lot of different sleeves for Magic. These ones are acid-free. They come in packs of 100. I'll show you. And just so you know, if I ever seem a little bit shaky, it isn't because I'm nervous, though I do want to do a good job for you all. It's because I have a little bit of a tremor, you can see. Sometimes it's better, and sometimes it's worse. But I hope it's okay with you. I'll try to shake as little as possible, so it's not like watching a geriatric. But I am sorry. But you know, I think we all have our little difficulties, and we all have our insecurities. And you know, if you do shake a little bit, people will always think that you're a little nervous, and that can be good if you play Magic or poker, because some people believe in a poker face. But if you give the impression that you're nervous and you're not, you can kind of surprise everybody, right? And I encourage you all to accept the things about yourself that might make you a little self-aware, because you're always so nice to me, and I hope you'll be as nice to yourselves all the time. Okay, so let's look in this bag first, and I'll just probably start sleeving a few of these as we go, okay? Oh, and just about the sleeves, you know, these are standard sleeves. You can see they're thin. Some people like sleeves that are thicker, like dragon shields and things like that. And you can also get premium versions of all of these sleeves, but I like sleeves that don't add a lot of bulk to my deck. So these are sort of the perfect size, and they're really affordable. You can tell me about all the sleeves you use. So if you don't know a lot about Magic, a big part of it is your lands. This is a mountain. It's a very nice mountain, you know. And these are quite old, my friend's cards. So the art is old and a little faded, which is quite charming. Lands are the most important thing in Magic. They're where you draw your power. And you can see I've stumbled across a lot of lands, which can sometimes be good to draw, sometimes not what you want. But every deck whatever color you choose to play or colors you choose to play. The lands are essential. Just like in the real world, everything starts with the land around us. So you can see there are different kinds of mountains, just like in the real world. I love mountains. I love them. I think I would never be happy if I didn't live somewhere with very big mountains and without water everywhere. I think water is so beautiful. And more mountains. I think maybe I stumbled upon them. Maybe all of these are mountains, huh? Let's see. Nope. We've got some good stuff, although these seem pretty random because here we have a lot of black cards, which you can't use mountains for. I remember this one, the Terror card. I quite like him. He's quite morbid, a little grotesque. And Magic has a lot of creatures and spells that look scary. But I hope I can find some of the cute ones too. One time I built an entire deck around squirrels, around a card called Chatter of the Squirrels that summons all kinds of squirrel tokens, and I just thought it was funny. It wasn't a great deck, but it was a cute deck. And you can see it just fits nicely in the sleeve like that. And it's important to protect your cards, mostly because Magic is so much fun with a bowl of Cheetos. I like to eat Cheetos, crunchy Cheetos, not puffs. I like to eat Cheetos, but Cheeto fingers, they get all over your cards. And unfortunately, there's no orange color in Magic, so there's no excuse. And if you don't know much about Magic, that's okay. You've probably had better things to do with your time. But I think one thing that's really fascinating about this game, apart from the complexity of it, and again, you'll see that there's so many different kinds of cards, and they're all different. And some of them are blue. These ones are all blue. They just happen to all be blue. And blue is never one of my favorite colors. A lot of the blue spells are, they're spells that sort of change conditions, which can be great. You can buff and debuff and really throw people off. It takes a smart player to play with blue and a patient player to play with blue. Blue is my favorite color, but not in Magic. Anyway, so the really interesting thing about Magic is that it has a copyrighted movement in it. A lot about it is copyrighted. Started in the early 90s, and it was actually started by an academic. you see all these cards, they have a casting cost in the top. And you know this, of course. You know this if you play Magic. So we look at something like one of these mountains. Nice, beautiful mountain. And what do you do when you lay it out? And you need to use the strength of the mountain to summon. You tap it. It's called tapping it. And you place it on your playing field. And all you do is move it sideways. You just move it sideways, and that means that it's been used that turn. And there are other cards that do this sometimes too. I shouldn't put my elbow on the cards. Don't tell. Sometimes different cards have different functions where they can be tapped for different reasons in play. And no other game is allowed to have this function. It may sound silly, but it is truly copyrighted. I wanted to tell you a really silly story as I sleeve these cards, and I'll show you if I come on ones that I really, really love. Alright? I'm very familiar with all of the old black cards. It may surprise you that I liked black a lot, even though it's kind of not necessarily evil. It's not evil. But you can see this is a vampire. And he definitely is out for blood. The black is the color of necromancy. And all kinds of really ghoulish characters. But I like them because a lot of times they can fly. Like the vampire is flying. Soul Scourge. I always love that card. He can fly. And good creatures that don't necessarily cost a whole lot. But my favorite was always red cards. Again, you can see how old these are because they have the white. They have white instead of black around the edge. This guy, well, he's a pretty cute minotaur, isn't he? Now red doesn't run off of creatures as much. This is an enchantment that's really cute. I do love dragons a lot. I love the dragons. So red creatures aren't very powerful. Oh, I'm doing it again. Red creatures aren't very powerful, but they also don't cost much to cast. Red is for people who like to strike quite quickly and decisively. You can deal a lot of direct damage with red cards. You call a deck like that a burn deck. A deck that has mostly fire spells that are direct damage, and I always quite liked that. I think because it's maybe a good way to surprise people, to maybe mix up the game and maybe not give away your intentions so much. Say if you're like a green deck, then you have to spend a little bit of time showing your hand, as it were. You have to do a lot of sort of setup sometimes to get your creatures out, to get them ready. The green is a color that's all about creatures, and I love creatures. I love animals, and so green is sort of, again, it seems like a deck, a kind of card that I would like, but it was never really my style. But maybe it's good for you. And I think it takes someone very brave to play green, someone very in control. Maybe the most mature people play green. There's also white, and I would often do like white and black decks. I like the contrast of light and dark, of course, but a monochrome deck can make a lot of sense. A lot of whites are, there's healing, sort of fortification with whites. This is a white knight riding in to save the day. And he's on a little horse, which I like. So, I will tell you my story, okay? It's silly, but a long time ago in high school, I had a friend. He was a friend who wasn't necessarily in my main social circle, but I liked people, all different kinds of people, and so I knew him and really liked him, and he was sort of unpredictable, and he worked in, I'm just gonna get these all facing the right way. He worked in a card shop, collectible card shop, not a Hallmark or anything. And he didn't get along with the man who ran the shop. And apparently, the man who ran the shop was up to some unsavory business. Something like counterfeiting autographed cards, something like that. Something that made my friend really upset. And this is where the story gets just an eensy bit illegal, so please, let's just call it a hypothetical story. So hypothetically, this friend came to my house. Oh, sorry to interrupt again, but I always loved, this is just a Squire, pretty low level white card, but it has a quote from the Canterbury Tales from Geoffrey Chaucer, and I always loved that. Magic the Gathering is actually a very intellectual game. I think it enhances your imagination and your communication and your storytelling. And they've even proven that it helps kids and teenagers do better in concentration and competition. And most importantly, I think it it builds their vocabulary significantly. You learn all kinds of words from a whole canvas of different cultural influences. Magic really draws from all kinds of fantastical mythology and history. So, in any case, so my friend comes to my house late one night. I have no idea what's going on, and I should say my parents' house because I was in high school. And he sort of surreptitiously knocked on my door. And I went to the door, and he said, he was slightly panicked, and he said, "Come here. Come here." And it was dark. I said, "What? What do you want? Where are we going?" And he said, "Well, just come to my car. I have something to show you in the trunk. I have something to show you in the trunk, so come now, you have to come now." This was an extremely strange request. I was a really good kid, like just boringly good kid, and a few more out. And but it was sort of exciting, so I went, and he had parked his car far away from my house too, which was also suspicious. And so I went with him, and right before he opened the trunk, and I said, "What's in the trunk?" This was all hypothetical, of course. I said, "What is in your trunk?" And he said, "You have to promise me something." And I said, What do you mean?" I was actually quite worried about him. And he said, whatever is in my trunk." You can't get much more cryptic than that. He said, "Whatever is in my trunk, I want you to promise to hold on to it for me and not tell anyone." That is actually what he said. Hypothetically, actually, let's say. And, gosh, I really didn't know what to say, but I was quite an accommodating person, and I was relatively worried about him. And I had all these thoughts about what can be in there, like what could possibly be inside that trunk. And anyway, he opened it, and it was full of magic cards. Just full of them. Except they weren't in little sacks like this. They weren't in sandwich bags. They were in really nice binders, but there were so many. And so he said, "Just please hold these for me. Please hold these for me. I can't tell you anything about them." What would what you do. You're much smarter and more reasonable than I am. So, you probably would have said, no, that's ridiculous. Hypothetically. You're not going to do that, especially if you're not going to tell me what's going on. But I didn't say that. And I decided to hold on to them. I put them still, as if they had some sort of track around them or something. I put them in the very back of my closet. Probably in a bag. There were some loose ones that were in just some bags, so it was probably something like this, but most of them were in those big binders. And I told myself that I was just going to put them in the back of my closet and never use them or touch them or think about them. I had thoughts of someone knocking down, knocking my door down. Knock, 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 knock. And I thought somebody, the magic police or something, they were gonna come. The Wizards of the Coast was gonna come. And they were gonna find me with these cards. Now, my friend had told me that the cards were mine to use as long as they were in my possession, that I could use them as much as I wanted. And I thought about it. I thought, maybe I'll take these to some conventions, to some tournaments, because let me tell you, there were some amazing cards in there. And I think the only thing that wasn't in there was a Black Lotus. I've always wanted a foil Black Lotus, which is just a very good card if you don't play Magic. But there wasn't one, but there were so many great cards. And I didn't touch them. And time went by, and I saw my friend, but I never really bothered him about what they were. But anyway, one day, months and months and months and months later, he came back. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. And he asked me to give him the cards back. So I did. And he said, were there any cards that I really, really loved? That I could have anything I wanted? And the truth is, there were a lot of great cards. And certainly a lot of very valuable cards. But for some reason, there was a card called the Serra Avatar. Very, very, very good card, depending on how you play. And I guess I had mentioned it. I don't remember. I don't remember how he knew that that was the card I really loved, but I told him no, just take them. You know, I'm not really comfortable with all these anyway, just take them. And he said okay, and he left. But as I was walking back up the stairs in my house, I heard one last knock, 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 knock on my door. And there was nobody there. But that card was sitting on the bench on my porch. Anyway, years later I found out the truth, which was that he had taken the cards from the card shop he had worked at. I had no idea. And I like to think that he did the right thing and brought them back, but I know he was angry at his boss, and also know that apparently that card store was closing. I don't know where those cards were supposed to go, but I'm pretty sure they weren't supposed to go to my friend. Now, I don't condone the behavior in this story. And again, who's to say if it really happened? But it was so strange. And it was probably my one brush with a life of crime and danger. So I hope that you'll forgive me for that. I don't want to live in fear. This is a fear card. In any case, I don't play Magic anymore because it's so expensive to keep up, and because I don't have I don't know many people who play. But I think it could be a really good game for you if you haven't played it. I think the most fun part of Magic for me is actually building the decks. So sometimes I still build decks just for fun, to challenge myself. And I hope that this hasn't been too boring for you. And I will probably just keep going. And I will probably try to make some real decks. But I hope you have a really excellent day. And I hope that you're oh, it's so sunny. I hope that you're never embarrassed about your hobbies, even if they're silly like mine are. And I will talk to you soon.